Hello there, welcome everybody to a new art club. My name is of course Olaf Falafel, and today's art club is going to be about the artist Banksy. Now, I haven't played the opening art club credits because I had a few messages from people saying that they are too long. So I've made a much shorter version of the art club theme tune, and it goes something like this. Was that short enough for you? Don't worry if you missed the normal version, I'll play that at the end. But anyway, the reason that I'm doing a Banksy special version of Art Club is because I have this book coming out very soon, or it may already be out depending on when I put this video out. It is called Trixie Pickle Art Avenger, and I would say it's suitable for kids who are between 7 and 12, especially if you like things like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Captain Underpants, that type of thing. So it's got lots and lots of cartoons and comics and drawings in it. But also, just flicked past one there, it has these fact files about different artists. So there's one about the artist Anthony Gormley. He's a sculptor. Let's see who else. Oh, there's Keith Haring. He was like a pop artist. And the artists are kind of woven into the story. So it's a very funny book. I think you'll really like it. If you like Art Club, you'll love this book. It's called Trixie Pickle Art Avenger, and it's published by Puffin. So make sure you go online or go down to your shop and buy a copy of that, and I'm pretty sure you'll like it. And if you don't like it, then not a lot I can do, really, is there? Anyway, we're going to be learning about Banksy, and Banksy is actually featured in this book. You see, Trixie is kind of her school's version of Banksy, and Banksy is a street artist, and he does sort of stencils and street art, sort of graffiti, and I'm going to be showing you how to make your own stencil art. Let me go to the fact file in here about Banksy, and then, so rather than doing the 1 minute artist, I could just read you the fact file from here. Let me get to the right page. Come on. So in the book, Trixie goes to a street art gallery and she sees all this cool stuff. There's a Banksy. Banksy did a Mona Lisa, but her face was like a smiling emoji. Here we go. Fact file, Banksy. So he's a street artist from Britain. He makes stencil artwork with spray paint, and some of his paintings are very funny. This one here, for example, it's a couple of gangsters, but instead of guns, they've got bananas. This one's quite good as well. I like this one. It's a woman who has taken the stripes off a zebra and is washing them and is hanging them up to dry. No one knows his true identity either. So for all I know, Banksy could be your nan. Another thing that I like that he often does is mix his art with street signs and stuff that's already there. So you've got a no entry sign here, and he's kind of spray painted a rat as though it's a treadmill that it's going round. And also, he is Trixie's new hero in the book. So that's a reason for doing a Banksy. I'm going to leave this, I'll leave that there because we could get quite messy, and I don't want that book to get messy. Right, I think what I should do is tell you what you will need first of all. You will need a bit of, it could be paper. I find a bit of thin card, you can just hear that, is a bit easier for our stencil. You will need a pencil and a pen for drawing the stencil, or you could print it out. I will put a image up online somewhere that you can download and print out if that makes things easier. I'm going to draw mine, and you can draw along if you want, but it will be easier to just print it out if you want to. You will also need a white pencil, a sheet of packaging card from like a cardboard box or something. I've got there. You will need, let's grab it all. A bit of blue tack. This is really rubbish, this blue tack. I think it's like off-brand blue tack. My kids have stolen all of my good stuff. You'll need a toothbrush, an old one. Don't use one that you will then use to brush your teeth, otherwise you will end up with black teeth. You'll need some scissors. I find nail scissors are really good for this because it's quite fiddly cutting out the template, and if you're not very good at cutting, you might want to get your grown-up to help you. And you will need some paint. I've just got some normal black acrylic paint, and I've put it in a little palette, that's the word, and I've also put some water here, so I will mix it in because we need our paint to be quite runny, because what we're going to do is use the toothbrush to flick the paint onto the stencil. first things first, let me put all of this stuff to one side. We're going to make, and let me put my cardboard to one side. We're going to make our stencil. Now we're going to be making a picture of a snail who is bored of being slow and has got himself a jetpack and is soaring off. And I guess the thinking behind that is that whatever you want to be, you can be. Don't let what you've got at the moment hold you back. Sounds kind of... But that's what I was thinking. And also, because it's quite funny, a snail with a jetpack. So if you are drawing this, you can draw along with me. Like I say, I will put a link in the video somewhere below where you can download this template and your mum and dad can print it off for you if you've got a printer at home. But if you are drawing the snail, I would start off by doing a circle, which is going to be a shell, and do this lightly in pencil. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. And then his actual tail bit will kind of come down here and go up to here with his head, just curving it round. And then his jetpack will be sort of this shape. I mean, it is very tricky actually doing stencil because you have to kind of work out which bits you're cutting out and which bits you are leaving. Now the shell has got a spiral, so it curves there, and then the spiral comes round like this. Now there's a bit on the jetpack like that, and a bit on the jetpack sort of like that, and he's gonna have a little open mouth as though he's happy because he's whizzing through the air. Oh, got to do a flame coming out of the jetpack as well, so the flame kind of looks like this. And I'm going to give him goggles because he's going so fast, he's wearing his goggles. Cut that middle bit out there. And give him two, what are they called? The things. Those things. The things that a snail has, going sort of backwards because he's going so quick. Now what we need to do is kind of separate this out into shapes and then work out which shapes we're cutting out. So this is where my black pen comes in quite handy. So I know that I'm going to be cutting out that bit, so I'll colour that in. And I know that I'm going to be cutting out, can't speak, those bits that I didn't know the name for. And you don't have to be particularly accurate in this bit because you will be cutting out the bits that are black. And I'm going to be cutting out this shape here. So everything that's black is going to get cut out. And what you don't want are any islands of white. So everything that's black is going to be cut out. So you can be quite rough and ready with this. Right. Ooh. And then you've kind of got to work out a way. I mean, this is actually quite tricky. You might be better off just printing out the thing that I put up online, but you've got to separate it out into shapes. So actually separating the jetpack into the front bit like this, which is kind of a bit like a front tip of the jetpack, then putting a line and a gap, and then doing that bit and colouring that in, and then doing a bit there. And then your flame, that's nice and easy if you've kind of copied the shape that I've done there. Ooh, I'm kind of gone a bit over the line. It doesn't matter because, like I say, you're going to cut these out. And then also you will use this stencil and splatter all over it. So you do not want your shell and your jetpack to touch. So hopefully you'll have something that looks similar to this. And colour in that bit there. So that is your stencil made. Well, that's the design for your stencil made. To make it into a stencil, you need to cut it out. And I'm going to be using some nail scissors, mainly because they're very tiny and they're good for getting fiddly bits. And what you do is cut out all of the black bits. Now, here's where the blue tack will be used later, but it's actually quite useful now, because what you can do is stick a bit to your... Oh, I've also forgot to mention, I've put newspaper down because this does get quite messy. So make sure you put newspaper down. And if you are wearing good clothes, put an apron on or something. Or don't wear good clothes. Wear clothes that you don't mind getting a bit messy. Right. What I do, I put the blue tack down, and then if I'm going to have to go through and cut this bit out, I just poke through. Ooh, let me get it. And make a hole like that. And that's a good place to start my cutting out. Just always be careful when you're using scissors, because I don't want to be responsible for anyone hurting themselves. And then you get in and you cut out all of the black bits. Now this is very fiddly and can take some time, so you need to be quite patient, or you need to get an adult to help you out. So if you're not patient, get someone else to do it for you. There we go, that's the eye out. Now all I've got to do is cut out every single other bit of black. I am definitely 100% going to put this into fast forward. And there it is, my cut out stencil, and we're going to be using this to flick paint onto our brick wall that we're going to make now. So we're going to make a brick wall using our card, and I don't know if I mentioned at the beginning or not, I can't remember. We need a white pencil, a white or a light coloured pencil, so white or a yellow possibly might work. I think white's the best. And what you do is you just start doing some horizontal lines, a couple of centimetres apart, all the way across. They don't have to be like really neat. All the way across from the top to the bottom. Now the next thing we're going to do are some vertical, that's the word, vertical lines. And you can start wherever you want. So I'm going to start here, somewhere in the middle. And you do a vertical line about a brick shape, so making a rectangle. So you do, and then you do another one that is the same space. And you go all the way along that line, doing brick-sized vertical lines. And then you do the one underneath. Now the one underneath, you do your vertical lines in the middle, so in between the ones above. So one there, and the same with the line above, you do it in between. So that should give you that kind of brick pattern. And you just fill up your whole card with the brick pattern. so that is our brick wall done. Now comes the really fun part. Now comes the bit where you use your paint and your toothbrush, and we can get a bit messy here. I'm just going to pop that to one side and show you how I've got some water here and some paint there, and I'm just going to mix the two together to hopefully make a kind of runny, flickable consistency, if that's a word, flickable paint. I think between one of these two it should be nice and flickable consistency. Keep mixing. Ooh, a bit of water there as well. Now what you need to do, actually I said it's time to paint. What I haven't done is taken my stencil and put some little balls of blue tack on. You'll see there's quite a few floppy bits, and you need these to stick down firmly quite close to your background. So what I do is get little bits of blue tack, whether they're little balls or little strips, and just put them all around my design so it will stick down. And once you've got some blue tack on all the bits that you think might need help sticking down, I find that you can't have enough little blobs of blue tack actually. What you do is you turn it around and you position it on your wall. I'm going to have it angled up slightly, and then press down where your bits of blue tack are, and hopefully that will stick down nicely. Give it a good press where your little blobs of blue tack are. I think I put some there and on the mouth. And on the flame. And what I'm going to do, just to mask over this bit of wall here and this bit of wall there so they don't get paint on them, I'm going to use some spare newspaper. So a bit there. Let me. Bit there. Bit there. Put that in half as well. Cover that all up, and now it's time for the fun part. Now we can get our toothbrush, and like I say, make sure you're not wearing good clothes, and just flick. Oh, might have been a bit too runny there, and give it a good coating. Keep flicking. I'm going to swap hands. Now what you'll need to do, before you take off your template, make sure your paint is completely dry. Otherwise it may smudge. And also it gives you an opportunity to clean up your hands. I'm going to do that now. Right, as if by magic, mine has nearly completely dried. And as if by magic, mine has completely dried. What you need to do now is carefully peel off your stencil. And there may be the odd bit of blue tack. Oh, it's come off quite nicely. And what you're left with is your Banksy inspired art. Look at that. It's a snail who is bored of being slow, got himself a rocket pack, and he's headed off to who knows where. I would love to see all of yours if you give it a go. Reply in the comments below if you've enjoyed this. Hit like, hit share as well. Please do hit share. And if you want to buy me a coffee, there'll be a link below where your mums and dads can buy me a coffee to say thank you. Oh, and if you want to say an even bigger thank you, I'll make sure I've got clean hands when I do this. Make sure you go out and buy yourself a copy of Trixie Pickle Art Avenger. It's my first ever chapter book. It has got loads and loads of cartoons in it. It's a load of fun for 7 to 12-year-olds, possibly younger, possibly older. But yeah, go out and find that and do buy it. I hope you make your own Banksies. Like I say, please do share them with me. I hope you've enjoyed this art club. Here is the full art club theme tune. Bye!
Art club, there's gonna be some painting and drawing. Art club, there's gonna be some painting and drawing. Some of the time we might do drawing and painting, but most of the time we will do painting and drawing.